All right, this video is going to be how to search for and enter a food in MyFitnessPal. So when you open up MyFitnessPal, it's going to look like this. And at the top, I can click on whatever day of the week I want to plan for. So if I want to plan in advance for Wednesday, I can go to Wednesday and I can start to enter my food here. Or of course, I can do it on the day of that I'm at now. So the first thing I'm going to do is scroll down and I'm going to see that I have my meals set up. So I have it set up as breakfast, lunch, pre-workout, and dinner. And then depending on which one I want to add it to, I'm going to click log. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to enter the food based on how I measure it. So if I measure the food raw, then I want to search for it as raw. If I measure it cooked, then I want to search for it cooked. And that's because the weight of the item changes depending on if I am having it raw or having it cooked. The best way to measure protein, fruits, fats, and vegetables is raw. And I think the easiest way to measure grains is cooked. So for example, let's do chicken. Now I want to search for it exactly how I measure it and how I'm going to have it. So in this case, chicken breast, boneless, skinless, raw is how I measured it. I'm going to search for it. I'm going to click show more results. And then I'm going to scroll down because I see that there's a green check mark option here. And that means that MyFitnessPal has verified it. And so it's probably going to be more accurate. And I say probably because you always want to double check. Now I can add it directly to the diary by clicking that check mark button, but I can also click on the item itself. And then what's going to come up are some different options. So on this screen, I can change the serving size. So in this case, I can change it. Maybe I measured it in pounds because I bought it from the store and it on the label, it says, 0.8 pounds. And so then I can also change that number of servings. So say it was 0.8 pounds, I'm going to click 0.8, and you can also do it in a fraction instead, but I prefer the decimal myself, but you do whichever one you like. And then I'm going to choose which meal I'm going to add it to. So let's say, for example, I have this at lunch, and let's say that I have it every day for lunch. That's also an option here. I can click Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then maybe Monday, and then on the weekend I have something different. So I'm going to just unclick some of those. So let's say we just have it on Wednesday, and then I'm going to go ahead and log that. Now, what if I forget to measure the chicken before it's cooked, while it's still raw? Then I'm going to go to my food and I'm going to go to search food and I'm going to click and I'm going to put in chicken breast baked skinless. I'm going to click search. And then I have some options here. And I prefer, this is a good example where it says one medium breast. What is medium? Medium is very subjective. It's going to be different for everybody. So ideally, I would click that and then maybe change it to ounces or to grams or a pound, or I see this one already in ounces. And maybe I change that also to, let's say we want to change it to grams and I want to have 100 grams and I'm going to have it at dinner. And then I'm going to log that and that's going to go in. Speaking of the medium, that happens a lot with things like potatoes and sweet potatoes. So if I go sweet potato raw, I'm going to click on it and I have it as a cup now cubed. That's an option. But if you see it has one 5-inch long sweet potato, again, unless you're going to take out a tape measure, it's probably not going to be that accurate. So either try to use something that you're weighing or something that you're measuring with a measuring cup like the cup or a quarter cup. And then I can click log and put that in. The other, when I'm searching for foods that I have cooked already, like brown rice, for example, I said grains are usually easiest to measure when they're cooked. I'm going to put in brown rice cooked. I'm going to search for it. And I have a couple of different green checkmark options. They both are about the same. I'm going to click on one, and then again, I can change that serving size. I can change my number of servings. I can change the meal, and then I can log it. So, whenever possible, choose an entry with a green check mark next to it. It's usually going to be most accurate, but you should always double check those macros anyway. And the way to do that, so say for example, I click on that brown rice. I'm just going to scroll down to the where the carbs, fat, and protein are, and see that it has like a reasonable number of carbs, fat, and protein. Every once in a while, you'll get something that has no macros in it, and it just has calories that it's tracking. And so we don't want to use that one because we're ideally tracking the macros. And so that is how you want to search for and enter a food. You do want to add vegetables because, say, for example, you have broccoli, you have raw broccoli. It's, say I'm having, even if it's just 100 grams, it's still giving me about 6.5 grams of carbs and about 3 grams of protein and 35 calories. So vegetables still definitely count towards your macros. The only thing that you don't have to worry about tracking are spices, like say paprika. You don't have to worry, you're not having 100 grams of paprika. You're having like maybe a teaspoon or something like that. You don't have to worry about that. You could track it. Either way is either way is okay with me. If you really want to get into the nitty gritty, you can track it, but I don't think it's going to throw you off too much if you don't track those spices. And then the same thing for black coffee. If you drink a lot of it, if you drink 8 ounces of it, it's only 2 calories. It's not giving you a whole lot. But say you drink like 32 ounces of it, still not too bad. But remember, so you don't really have to track coffee unless you're drinking a ton. But also do remember to track anything that you put in it. So if you're putting milk or almond milk or cream, then those are things you're definitely going to want to track. All right, so that is how to search for and enter a food in MyFitnessPal.